Hello, everyone.
2 minutes until showtime.
Welcome to a Friday edition of the Computer America Show. Nathan Evans, managing editor of Popzara magazine, is going to be here with us for both hours. And we're going to talk about everything from tech to movies, you name it. We're going to be kind of all over the road. It's a Friday night, so sit back, relax, enjoy the show. We'll be starting momentarily in less than 2 minutes.
I'm pulling up my Windows 10 right now.
Yeah. What is, I hear that like there's a wind thing like that. Is it your mic that's doing that?
Mine?
Yeah, yours, Nate.
I don't have anything going on in my room.
No, but it sounds like it's not really wind. It's like it loses connection for a moment, like that,
I don't know. I had a connection issue with Google before I talked to Ben.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it'll hold.
I've never had that problem before.
No.
1 minute until showtime.
Now, who has their speaker on? Because when I talk, I can hear a speaker in the background. Maybe.
Not me. No, I don't have any speakers on.
Okay.
I wonder if Google's messing up.
Could be.
I can try disconnecting and reconnecting real quick.
No. I think at this point, unless it goes completely bad, then just if we lose you or something, then
give me a safe word like
reconnect.
Reconnect. Reconnect. Thankfully, it's pretty easy to reconnect you guys. I still have the link.
Okay,
so.
good. Yeah, the link will always remain good, but all right. Okay, 30 seconds.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live. It's America's longest national radio talk show on computers. Computer America. Hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. Look for Craig's weekly column in your favorite newspaper. This show is being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. Keep it here for technology news, computer products, guest interviews, and your phone calls. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello, and welcome into the Computer America Show. It's the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. Computer America is heard around the world and coast to coast. And I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
Hey, Ben, it's Friday.
Yes, sir.
Yes, we made it. I wasn't as enthusiastic. I had to be more enthusiastic. It's Friday! Yes, another week of broadcasting excellence in the can. Okay, we're all set. So,
not quite.
Well, just about. We're just about finished. And
one more night.
One more night, yes, and then it'll be complete.
And by the way, I think people of my generation, they will have no clue what you're talking about when you say "in the can."
Well, yes, of course, the digital. Basically, in the old they went to a metal can, or the reels would go into a metal can and then would get filed away for safekeeping. And so that, yes, it is an anachronism. But that's basically what it meant. Of course, in the can could be anything else. We could be talking about the bathroom. They refer to as the can.
We here at Computer America do not keep our past shows in the bathroom.
No, we do not, nor in the can. But technically, we do archive all of our shows. Now, let's tell you how you can contact us if you have a comment or question or suggestion about anything we're going to be talking about tonight. Give us a call. That's the easiest way. Give us a call. 347, that's the area code, 347-884-8881. That'll get you on and get you through, 347-884-8881. Email is live, L-I-V-E, at Computer America. Also join us in our live interactive chat room. Now, what you do is you go to our homepage at ComputerAmerica.com. There's a button there that says live video and chat. Just click that. You'll see on the left-hand side our live IRC chat room. It asks you for a nickname. That's the name you'll be known by when you go in there. It'll ask you for a captcha code that just identifies you as a human and not a machine. It's usually a number or a couple of words. Put that in there. Then click the connect button, and your browser will move you into the Computer America chat room. It'll be in a little window on your screen. If you want to make it more pleasant to look at, we offer these IRC clients. There's a button there. You can click on that, and we have, depending upon the platform you're on and the browser that you're using, you can select the IRC client like Chatzilla or HexChat. We offer a number of them, and that'll put the chat room into another little window on your screen, and it'll format the text with colors. It looks very, very nice, but it's optional. You don't have to do that. And then also sharing that page. Another way to interact with us is watching us, not only listening to us, on our live Computer America video streaming page, and that's brought to you by Other World Computing. Quality products, expert support since 1988. They're celebrating their 25th anniversary. They're the award-winning Other World Computing. For any of your computing needs, hard drives, memory, you name it, RAID systems, please visit them at www.maxsales.com for all your computing needs. Anything you order over $49, you get free ground shipping, which means you get your product in 2 days. So it's just a really great site, great prices. Check them out, www.maxsales.com. Okay, so I think that said, let's bring our guests onto the show. Now, the word Popzara evidently is defined as being a bazaar of popular culture spanning the world of arts and entertainment and fronted by an anthropomorphic cap-wearing dinosaur mascot. Popzara is there to help you wade through much of it. Now, throughout Popzara.com, you'll hear views on video gaming, movies, technology, cultural movements, icons, yes, even politics. There you can find opinion pieces, debates, reflections, reviews, analysis, news tidbits, and so much more. So back with us on a Friday night is the managing editor of Popzara.com, Nathan Evans. Nathan, welcome back into Computer America. How you been?
Hey guys, and you know what? I'm a little upset that Merriam-Webster considers woot and side boob words, but they don't consider Popzara. Apparently my petition did nothing.
When did you
See, but I think the other two have a lot more traction. So you just need to get up there.
Apparently my word is pronounceable. That's the problem. Yeah. It has letters and structure.
Now, before we get started, let's promote. I know Popzara, you're online, and also you started doing a podcast that people. And I understand you have some really high-profile, names that you interview.
We did. I mean, I had President Obama scheduled. He had to decline. I had George W. Bush. He had to decline. But you know what? Yes. I think we know where this is going. The third time's the charm. I had a kind of a role reversal. We had Mr. Craig Crossman on this week.
Yes, and it was a lot of fun.
Did you break in the back?
No, it was interesting having the show taken over. At someday, I'm going to host Craig Crossman, and I'm going to be the host.
Well, we would have had Ben on, but he was in school at the time, so we couldn't get him on the show.
Is the excuse Craig told you because he knows that on Wednesdays I do not have school.
We didn't do it on a Wednesday. We did it on a Thursday. Tuesday, we did it on a Thursday.
Thursday he was in jail.
Yeah, that's true.
But he's bailed out for Friday. He needs someone to run the show.
Yeah, for breaking his iPhone. But
that's another story.
That's another story.
Right now you can't hear it, but Samsung is listening and saying, "Broken iPhone? Where can I send him a brand new note?" It doesn't bend.
But does it fly? Because that's my problem right now.
It doesn't blend. Yeah. Actually, well, the way you explained it to us is that you put the iPhone on the bed on the cover, and then when you came back, you'd forgotten you put it on the cover. When you flip the covers back, you heard something go crash, tinkle, and that was your iPhone. So.
And everyone tells me that, Ben, you don't need to be so violent with your blankets, and I'm like, they're just blankets. You whip them up and they go, but apparently the phone flies just as far as you throw the blanket. So
there's going to be
shattered the screen.
It's good practice because there's going to be an Olympic event called the phone toss. And I'm sure you would be very good at that.
Right now, Ben. Right now, Ben's your future wife is taking notes. Do not leave baby under covers.
All it has to do is make some noise and it's fine. I mean, these kids, have their nose pressed against their phone. Mm-hmm. I think phone dropping would be one of the best things the Olympics can do to attract the younger crowd. just something to do with your smartphone because they're infectious. It's an addiction.
Yes, it is. It can be. Now you are going to repair it though. You sent away for a repair kit. I know you probably got this under your belt now, so you'll be able to.
I actually already took apart my old one, threw away the old screen, and my phone is laying in a Ziploc bag, completely torn apart, waiting for the new screen.
Which will arrive on Tuesday.
Yep.
Okay. Well, listen.
Amazon promised 2 days, but I guess 3 days is okay too.
Yeah, it's gonna be. You're gonna get really good at doing this.
Yep. And I've read stories floating around the internet that the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus are even easier to fix than the 5 and the 5S because they're bigger and so you have more room to work.
And they bend. So that's
and they bend slightly.
Slightly, so it makes it more flexible to.
So they're easier to fix too. So I mean, if you can fix a 5, you can fix.
Here's how you fix your 5 next time. You get a 6.
Yeah.
Problem solved.
I was watching the CNET review, or was it? I think it was CN. It was yeah, it was CNET. Anyway, the reporter was talking about and he got an iPhone and he was trying to bend. He says he could not bend his, no matter how hard he tried. I mean, he was really flexing it, and he couldn't do it. So maybe it's just a certain number of phones. Maybe
Was he trying to bend the 6 or the 6 Plus?
6 Plus. Yeah, 6 Plus, and he could.
Maybe he has little girly hands.
Yeah, that's his comment. He said, well, maybe the guy was really bigger, but he was really trying to bend it, and he could not bend it.
But Craig, if you're going to get someone to show brute force, you do not get a tech reviewer. You have them sit on the phone. You do not have them bend the phone with their hands.
You get the janitor who has calluses and has mopped too many floors.
I can't remember if it was CNET or CNN, so it was one of the two. It was, and I watched.
It sounds like something CNN would do just to fill time.
It could be.
There's been a lot of clickbait with Bengate. It turns out it just wasn't. It just didn't have the. What did they say? What did Apple? The number they put out was what?
6.
9.
Nine.
Out of 10 million. So.
Yeah.
The thing is that they even bothered to give it a name, like Bendgate.
I've seen so many Gates words lately. It's just whatever word and then add gate. Watergate. So they just take gate and put it on it. I've seen so many of those floating around. I don't know who's trying to revive it. Let it die, folks.
Yeah. Anyway. Anyhow, we're going to talk now. We're going to cover a variety of topics. I'm giving you the phone numbers, how to contact us. And Nathan Evans is going to be here with us for both hours. Oh, and I forgot to mention, because it's Friday, we're going to have a show reminder winner of the week. Yes, we're going to call that out probably in the second hour. We'll call out who wins that really nice Touch T650 touchpad from Logitech, valued at $80. Glass touchpad, glass surface touchpad, very, very nice. It's but just don't leave it on the bed, in case you toss it, because it's made of glass. So you be careful. So we're. I think I've taken that joke far enough as it can go. I think what we're going to do is we're going to pick some topics, and
Are you sure because it's Friday and kind of more loosey-goosey feel of the show, you don't want to start with movies or something fun?
Well, we could start with movies. I'm up for that. The movie that I want to see, the only one that's really on my radar at this point, because there are a number of them out now that I wouldn't mind seeing, but I don't want to really go to the movie theater to see them because they're not that attractive to me. Like I wanted to see the one with Denzel Washington. What's the name of that? That's the
Smurfs.
No.
He plays Papa. He plays Papa Smurf.
He basically, he's a good guy defending, good people from bad people. The Equalizer, that came out. There's another one called The Maze Runner, which looks very intriguing that I might want to see. But the one that I'm really waiting to see that's coming out is going to. It was delayed from July. Jupiter Ascending. That looks really good.
I haven't heard of that.
The Jupiter Ascending actually has mostly the same cast that was in the Batman movies. primarily because it's a Chris Nolan film, and
No, you're wrong. You're wrong. You got the it stars the guy from the stripper movie and the girl from the '70s show.
oh, I'm thinking of Interstellar. I'm
Ex-
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of Interstellar. I'm sorry. My bad.
One has an elf. One
Right. I know.
actually, you know what? You know why you're confused? Because they both star
Yeah.
stars from that stripper movie.
Yeah.
Matthew McConaughey and Chatham Tatting, or
Annotating.
Oh, Magic Mike, you're talking
yeah,
about.
both strippers.
Yes, we'll get back to Jupiter Ascending, but I wanted to talk about the Interstellar because that has it has Alfred, the actor.
Alfred E. Newman,
Al-
amazing.
the,
No, it stars the star of Jaws 4: The Return.
it has a lot, and of course the woman who played Catwoman is in it. They're all in this picture. But the premise is really interesting. It looks like they want to find a new planet because Earth is dying or something bad is happening to Earth, and
That's cheery.
yeah. So it looks like that's the premise of it, and I don't know anything more about it. Matthew McConaughey is in it. He's the
Do you know
star.
when it comes out?
Yes, it comes out in November, I believe.
November 5th. That's right around election time.
Yeah, November 5th. Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure if America's ready for the draw of the box office or the voting booth, but hopefully they choose, the right one. All right, so that was Interstellar, and the other one?
The Maze Runner. That came out on the 19th of September. That looks very intriguing. When I first watched the previews, it reminded me a little bit of the mentality of Ender's Game. There's a lot of kids that are involved there, and they're trapped in this kind of interplanetary maze of some sort, and it looked intriguing. The effects looked really good.
Have you ever heard of Honest Movie Trailers?
What is it?
Honest Movie Trailer?
No.
They're YouTube videos, and they take the trailers for movies, and they have they have one of those voiceover guys, like with a really deep voice, and doing the trailer voice, and he does one for The Maze that you're talking about, and he pointed out so many similarities between The Hunger Games and Maze Runner.
The Maze Runner. Yeah.
Yeah, the Maze Runner, that the two are pretty much really similar. Like they're both targeting that, young teen, late teen, young adult crowd, and they're both kind of Hunger Games ish.
You know what? Since you talked about the podcast that the website's doing, I invite everybody to go check out an episode of the Popzara podcast called the YA Movie Apocalypse, because it talks about what Ben just talked about. All of these films are under the genre of YA, stands for young adult, and they're in a subgenre called dystopian. So in the future, when the world dies, we'll be saved by hot teenage girls who have to choose between thwarting the bad guys and picking between the hot young guys. It's all going to be about that. It's, do I choose life or do I choose hot guys? And it's funny because you mentioned the Hunger Games. Without the Hunger Games, Ben, there would be no Maze Runner. In fact, they're all cookie cutter. Some are better than others. In fact, this isn't even the first apocalyptic one. There was one that came out earlier this year about a American chick who fell in love with a British guy in World War III. And what else is it? Have you ever heard of Battle Royale, the original Japanese film?
No, I have not.
No.
Well, the writer of The Hunger Games claims she never heard of it either, despite the fact it's the same story about a bunch of school kids who get set in this island. They have to battle it out, and the winner gets to survive. Has nothing to do with Hunger Games. This film, Maze Runner, looks a lot like another film that came out. And Ben, you might have heard about this one, called Cube.
Oh, yes.
You remember Cube?
Disturbing movie. People get sliced and diced and
Yep.
fricasseed and any way pay. It's all about how many different ways you can kill a person in the most slow, bizarre, gruesome manner. And yet we have to have a theme because each cube has a special number and it takes you to another one and then how many sequels they made to the Cube? They made like Cube 2 and Cube 3.
They made a bunch of direct-to-TV movies about it.
Yep, you just have to see the first one. But that's what these YA movies are. They're just how can we legit? How can we kill teenagers and, and with romance and call it fantasy?
Of
I've never seen so many prepubescent killer movies in my life.
course,
Call
well, of course, we also had the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that came out in August, uh, and
See,
then
but that I wouldn't really classify that as young adult. That's probably more towards the comic book, that kind of deal.
Look, I hate to be the one to say it, but these films are geared towards young girls. They really are. As much as Turtles is geared towards guys and Transformers is geared towards guys, these 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 things are all cut from the same cloth. All about heroin. How many? Not heroin, but heroin. Although it's the same thing for these girls. They've had so many films just this year. They had Divergent. They're going to have Hunger Games. They're
yeah,
going to have Maze Runner. There's so
I
many.
Divergent. There was another called Earth the Echo too, which also because and that was also a little bit it reminded me a little bit of E.T. but modernized. This little alien, cute little alien comes to Earth and it had all these different powers. And I didn't. That was back in July. I did not see that one. Of course, the Transformers 4: Age of Extinction. That was back in the
With Mark Wahlberg.
yeah, action figure. Okay. So I missed those. Of course, I didn't see Godzilla either, but I am looking forward to them. They are going to be coming to HBO, so I'll watch them.
Well, there's one big news story that neither of you guys picked up on. Craig, you said you don't want to see a lot of these movies in theaters. In the future, you won't have to. I know you know where I'm going with this. You heard
Hmm.
about the big Netflix shows, the Netflix
Yes,
news.
yes.
You know, Adam Sandler. Adam Sandler setting up for all these films, and don't forget their first film is going to be a sequel to Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
I saw the only thing that stayed with me about that news story with that Adam Sandler was that and he said the only reason he was going with Netflix is because it sounded like Wet Chicks.
Yeah, and and his bank account went ka-ching.
Yeah, ka-ching. Yeah, exactly. It's very hard to resist that sound. You know.
Well, if they paid me 50 million, I'd have to think about it. I have my reputation.
Hmm.
But no, it's amazing. It's they're getting Netflix is transforming into something brand new, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch and how the other companies
Are you saying
follow
that?
through.
Are you saying that some of these movies that I don't want to go to the theater, I'll actually be able to watch it on Netflix and not have to go to the movie theater?
Look, half the movies that are coming out are going to bomb, and they're going to be on Netflix and VOD in about a month after they come out.
Well, talking about bomb. No, look back all the way back in May. That's how many months ago? May. On the end of May, A Million Ways to Die in the West came out. It tanked. I still haven't seen it on any of the things. HBO. It's not. Why?
It's called positioning because the movie didn't do well in theaters. So what they're going to do is they're going to look for another time frame. They can drop it and maximize it. And they've been doing this a lot with theater movies. Like there are movies that bomb in the theaters. They don't come out on DVD. Sometimes they can take up to a year because they want to get their money back. And right now, with the holiday season, they know if they put that movie back into DVD or on VOD, it's going to bomb again. So they got to find a nice little spot where they can drop it and make some of their money back.
Mm. So we won't see that for a while, evidently.
Well,
The 25th of July, Lucy came out. I saw that. I went to the theater to see that. I enjoyed it. It was a Luc Besson film. I like Luc Besson. Since I saw the Fifth Element, I've been a fan of it. But the thing is, even Lucy, I thought had a weak ending. Did you see the movie?
no, you
It
didn't.
had a weak ending. I'm sorry. It was just it was building up to all this stuff, and then in the end, it was like, So I had a slightly disappointed. Still was good to see. I'm glad I went to see it in the theater, but not a strong ending on that film.
Well, it should be a good. There's going to be a bunch of Oscar contenders coming up. So now
Like,
we're phasing into the quality era of the year. So it should be fun.
what titles are coming up? I know I mentioned Jupiter Ascending in February. November is Interstellar. Um, uh, those are the only two that are on my radar here that I have.
Yeah, there aren't a lot of really anticipated movies coming out. It's going to be interesting to see what actually can break through.
Well, okay. So, uh,
Has Ben gone into Zen mode?
no, Ben went into freeze mode, but I see him again. I see two Bens now. One,
Too bad.
one's moving and one isn't.
The
So,
other one's an imposter. Don't mind the other one.
He's reproducing.
He's oh my gosh, he's multiplying. Okay.
Thank goodness it turns out I can do that ace actually, because the other way wasn't working.
Uh, um, so anyway, we're gonna. I think we're caught up at this point.
Well, wait. There was something that happened earlier this week that I don't know if either one of you caught on to. It happened October 1st, and it was called the Day of Dread.
The Day of Dread.
Yes, Dread, Dredd. It's
Judge Dredd.
hmm?
Judge Dredd, you mean?
Exactly. It's calling attention to the movie that a lot of people came to it through Netflix, and it's just called Dread, not Judge Dredd, based off of the comic books from the UK. And the movie, very well done. It admittedly it has kind of that B feel to it, but
I saw it. I
yeah,
saw.
it's kind of gruesome, kind of that kind of thing, but actually very well done.
I saw it. I think I saw it on Netflix. As a matter of
Hmm.
fact. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
It was a remake of the Sylvester Stallone version of Judge Dredd.
Thank goodness. No, that, as many people say, that is the movie we dare not talk about. That is the Voldemort of movies.
Okay.
This is the only Judge Dredd movie there is.
but
Yeah.
it had Rob Snyder in it. But no,
Yeah, the Stallone movie, that particular one, I did not care for. But the new Judge Dredd that came out actually was quite entertaining to watch.
I will make a comment about that. A friend and I swear to God, we were just talking about Dread the other day because we were talking about 80s films and how, I don't know if there's something about 80s action movies that are better than anything that comes out today because practical effects, blood, violence, R-rated, they weren't scared of it. Everything is PG-13 now. Dread was a 1980s movie, cheese and all, transplanted to now. It was incredibly bloody, incredibly violent, great performances, low budget in all the right ways, and I think if it had come out now, it would have done better simply because the villain was played by I don't know her name, but she's the Queen Bee.
Hmm.
It rhymes with snitch on Game of Thrones, and
Oh,
she played Mama,
okay.
and she also played Sarah Connors on the TV show that was canceled.
Oh yeah, that didn't go very well over TV. I liked the second one, which was good.
But
But
but if
by the way,
anybody,
Fort in the chat room mentioned when I mentioned Earth the Echo, he mentioned it's in the genre of movies like E.T., Batteries Not Included, which I really liked. I thought Batteries Not Included was actually ahead of the game. I think that was produced by Steven Spielberg, if I'm correct too. So Batteries Not Included, Super 8, and Flight of the Navigator. Flight of the Navigator was actually quite entertaining. I found that to be a very good movie.
all Spielberg films in some way,
Yeah.
but there's one movie your chatter forgot about, the classic Mac and Me.
I didn't see that.
Nobody did. But
Yeah.
but everybody, thanks to Late Night Talk Show, everybody saw the famous wheelchair scene from Mac and Me. Mac and Me is a shameless ET ripoff that was funded by McDonald's.
Oh, I remember this
And
now. Yes.
yeah, and the movie is amazing because it's horrible, but you can't. It's about a kid in a wheelchair who
Yeah.
befriends a looks like a burn victim from Mars and his family who drink Coca-Cola, and they go into this McDonald's, and I swear to goodness, everybody's dancing. Everybody's dancing like a 1980s video, and it's awful. But I saw it 3 times in the theater.
Did you like Flight of the Navigator? I thought that was a very
Oh,
good.
I loved it. I
Yeah,
love Flight of the Navigator.
I thought it was very entertaining. It was
Pee Wee
Super 8.
Herman.
Super 8. I really liked too. I saw that in the theater. And Batteries Not Included. I can't count the times I've watched that and rewatched it on TV. Every time.
I'm gonna make your world shrink. I was just researching that movie and I found something that made me smile. Batteries Not Included was the first movie that was written by Brad Bird.
Oh, Brad Bird did The Incredibles.
Yep, he went off to have a great career at Pixar and Iron Giant and The Simpsons and
The Iron Giant. I liked that too. That was a good. That was a good animated.
Of course, you like the Iron Giant. That's just Superman in a giant robot outfit.
Sort
and
of.
it was the first movie where Vin Diesel was hired just to say one line,
Which what?
which was "I am Superman" or Superman. And then he was hired to do the same thing in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Well, Superman, in the Iron Giant, he mentions the word Superman is mentioned. I guess they had to pay for it or something, but yeah, he thinks he likens himself to the Superman character.
Yeah, and it's interesting, that one of Vin Diesel's first big movies.
It was good. I mean, it was it had the emotional punch just at the right times, and you're watching a cartoon. I thought it was actually very good. I thought it was a good job. And of course, E.T. Well, that goes.
Whoa, I take offense to that. You should not say to a movie, well, even though it's a cartoon, it's pretty good. No,
Yeah.
no, no. Cartoon is completely perfect on its own.
Yeah, it is. Today it is. E.T. of course to me was. I mean, I saw that movie 47 times when it came out in the movie theater. That was I loved that movie. I don't remember what year that came out. Do you remember what E.T.?
82.
82. Yeah, I saw that in the movie theater. Like I took all my friends to see it, and my friends' friends and everything, because I thought it was just a wonderful movie.
That's the first movie I ever saw in the theater.
Really?
Yep.
Well,
I
you
was
picked,
I
you
was
picked
very
a good one.
young.
You
I was
picked a
very
very good. You picked a very good one. I mean, that was really
scared the hell out of me. But you know what? I think there's a handful of films that are perfect,
hmm
and E.T. is one of the perfect films. And the other one, that came out just a few years before that, you'll probably agree, was Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh yes, a classic.
Yep.
The ET had the little button that says all it said is "I saw ET," a little purple button. I still have that button somewhere. I actually have it. They hand it out in the movie theaters. I still have that as a collection someplace.
Yep. And
Yeah.
I don't want a sequel. I don't want a reboot. I don't want
No,
Spielberg going
no,
back and
no,
fixing it anymore. I wanted
no.
him to leave it alone
Leave it alone. Leave it
and
alone.
move on.
Didn't they fix it like in the original? They used to have guns, and then like when the government was running around, like they took all the guns out.
I wouldn't use the word fix. I'd use another F word, but they took the guns
Nick.
out
They
and they
nixed.
and they eventually he relented and put him back in because you know what Spielberg he got the George Lucas disease where you just have to tinker and mess with and change and leave it alone. It's
Yes.
like a scab.
Wow. He took out the guns, but then he put them back. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, I only remember the original version, and that's it. You're listening to the Computer America Show on the Blog Talk Radio Network, on the Boost Radio Network, on the IRN Radio Network. When we come back, we're going to have a news tips bulletin from Marty Winston. It's the last two for this week. We're talking to Nathan Editor, managing editor of Popzara magazine. We'll be right back with him. Stay with us.
Hey everyone, have you heard about the no that's sweeping the globe? If you want to go weeks without shaving and get smooth, professional quality results, here's our favorite host, Cheryl, for No Hair Removal.
Thanks. Hey, gals, I love talking about my no-no. It's this cute little hair removal system that you can take with you and use almost anywhere at home or on the road. No more expensive in-office treatments, painful waxing, and no more wasting your valuable time. Not unwanted facial hair? No has patented thermocon technology that works on all hair and skin colors, so it's perfect for using on all body parts. And now you can take advantage of this incredible risk-free trial. Get the No facial kit, a travel case, and a $100 discount shopping card, and you don't risk a penny to try it. Try the incredible No Hair completely risk-free. Call 1-800-953-5415. That's 800-953-5415. 800-953-5415.
Looking for a best friend? Brother Wolf Animal Rescue has your best friend waiting just for you. The mission is to protect and enhance the lives of companion animals and the people who love them. There are no-kill rescue shelter year-round, making it easy for people to adopt their best new friend. This year, Brother Wolf will find homes for over 2,400 orphan dogs, puppies, cats, and kittens. All have ended up as an orphan through no fault of their own. Brother Wolf has created a safe, nurturing environment where these special animals can heal emotionally and physically until they find a lifelong home. Their life-saving transport program brings dogs and puppies from overcrowded shelters in the south to rescues in the north where homes are easier to find. Brother Wolf Animal Rescue is a 501c3 organization. To learn more about their life-saving work and to make a donation, visit their website at www.bwar.org. That's www.bwar.org. For lack of a home.
Who's a good boy?
Buenas noches. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. This time, the Black & Decker 20V Max Swivel Hand. 20V, as you might guess, stands for 20 volts, the power system behind this thing. And when you dock it on its charging stand, the new 20V Max cordless swivel handbag from Black & Decker is roughly the size of a carton of juice. Push a button to swivel its snorkel nozzle for the job at hand. You can also flip a brush into place or slide a crevice tool in or out of the nozzle. We're still talking about everything in one place. Between the nozzle and the handle is a cylindrical dust cup with a cap you open to shake dirt loose. But this one supports another level of tool-free disassembly that makes it easy to remove and wash, or every 6 to 9 months replace. A pre-filter and a filter that keep the captured dust inside the cup. This product is the 20-volt lithium-ion battery that keeps the overall weight down while maintaining a higher voltage longer for better continuing suction that doesn't fade. Its small nozzle isn't for huge jobs, but it's really cool for drawing out dust from inside PCs, from keyboards, from atop monitors, and especially for putting the black back in all those dusty, dingy, graying wall warts and charging hubs on our shelves. Bottom line, the Black & Decker Pivot 20-volt max hand vac makes doing lots of small chores no big deal. This is Marty Winston with the News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. 33 minutes past the hour, and we're going over movies right now. Actually, might be a little bit done with that. Actually, one of the points I wanted to make about the whole Dread thing before you guys get off on your tangent about old movies, I don't know how that happened, but was October 1st was the Day of Dread, where people watch it, they raise awareness for it, that kind of thing, in hopes of getting Dread to kickstarted, greenlit by whoever made the first one. They want a second one to be made. So yeah. And because the first, Dread, when it came out in theaters, I'm pretty sure it didn't do well in theaters. Like, it wasn't, it wasn't widely released, and it wasn't widely advertised. So, I mean, but it's developed such a following with Netflix that people are trying to bring it back and trying to get a second one done. Whether or not that's going to happen, hopefully it does. One thing that did happen, though, for sure, I don't know if we mentioned here on the show since Nathan has been here, but oh man, Deadpool is definitely getting a movie.
Deadpool?
Deadpool with Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, wasn't the Deadpool, that was a Clint Eastwood movie, wasn't it? The Deadpool?
Maybe.
Yeah,
Clint Eastwood as Deadpool would have been awesome, but he's probably a little past his prime.
Yeah. But he did a movie called The Deadpool.
The Deadpool.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. No, Deadpool is, the character, if you ever watch X-Men, they, kind of messed him up in that one, but now he's getting his own feature movie.
Well, the last X-Men movie I saw was The Future Past. That was the last one where they
Which is the one where they set up the alternate timelines.
Right, exactly. And the one before that, of course, was the Wolverine, which I mean,
who they killed?
What?
Who they killed? They killed Wolverine.
They didn't kill Wolverine.
No, in the comic books, yeah, that doesn't count. That doesn't count.
They killed Superman in the comics too, and then they changed his costume.
And they killed Captain America. Yeah. Pretty much they kill everyone.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
And then the ones they didn't kill, they turn black, they turn gay, they turn female. they do all this stunts, but they show how progressive and diverse they are. But they never do that in the films. They would never turn, Liam Hemsworth into Anne Hathaway.
Yeah.
Although you, before the show, you did mention something that they would be willing to do, and it concerns Iron Man, which is very, very successful.
Now,
which is just a rumor.
Now, before I say that, let me address your Deadpool thing. We talked about Dread and how violent and gory and how great it was because that's how the comic book was. Mm-hmm. Deadpool is a gory, violent comic book. There's not a chance in whatever religious hell you think of that movie's going to be anything other than PG-13. It's going to be so watered down. I hope they can work with it.
Yep.
That said, the rumor you're talking about makes me happy and makes me nervous because there's a rumor that Robert Downey Jr. is going to once again be Iron Man. I don't really think it's a rumor. He's the highest paid actor in Hollywood.
It says in the movie that he'll be back in Iron Man 4.
Yeah, it's a foregone conclusion, but he's stirring up interest in getting Mel Gibson to direct Iron Man 4. Now, if for those who don't know, Robert Downey Jr. and Mel Gibson have a lot in common. they were both considered washed up. They were both slaves to their passions. And during practically the whole 1990s, Robert Downey Jr. was considered a has-been. People he couldn't get roles. He was considered an alcoholic, drug addict, everything.
Was.
He was done.
Well, he
And
was. He was a drug addict.
yeah, but he was unemployable. No one would hire him. And if he did pop up in a film, it was in trash, like the sequel to The Fugitive or other garbage films. But it turns out it was Mel Gibson who helped save him. Mel Gibson who took him under, got him detoxed, got him back on track. And it sounds like Downey Jr. wants to return the favor with Mel, and having Mel Gibson direct Iron Man 4, that's I want to see that movie. I want to see that movie very badly.
Well, it's not. I mean, movies that Mel has directed have been very good. He's an excellent director. Just don't get me wrong. He's just very controversial. He can't keep his mouth shut. And these things happen.
Yeah, but you look at the history of Hollywood stars. I mean, if we started lambasting everyone who hit their wife, killed their wife, molested, and all this other stuff, we'd had nobody left. We'd,
I think we're in a more intolerant society of that. If it happened 15, 20, 30 years ago, maybe because we were just not communicating as well with everybody. But now, you look cross-eyed, everybody sees the report.
Oh yeah, it's online where it sticks, and it
Exactly.
funnels. And there's a younger generation that clearly is insane. They don't like certain actors because of this, but they'll promote certain actors because of this. It's
Yeah.
also arbitrary, and the guy made Braveheart,
Yeah.
so he deserves an Iron Man 4. And if it doesn't work out, then we tried.
Now, what was the last movie I just saw? I mean, he was in. Is it the Expendables 3? He plays a
Yeah,
bad guy in the Expendables 3, right?
it's one of the best things about that movie.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. So.
If Iron Man 4 doesn't work out for him, I'm hoping the next one to direct Iron Man 5. Like if they're just dishing out director credits to whoever they feel like at that point, Michael Bay. I mean him, man, match made in heaven, really.
what the problem about the Marvel movies is that it almost seems superfluous to even get a director at this point, because you can clearly, Disney has a plan, and they're not going to let people go outside that plan too much. And they've have a history. Marvel has a history of firing directors who don't comport to that. So hearing a visionary director is going to direct a Marvel movie, it's almost, like I said, it's almost antithetic, because it's not, no one's there's not going to be any drama outside of what needs to happen. There's not going to be any startling turn of events. You're not going to see anything like that, because it's basically it's just one big movie. And if you don't play ball, you're probably not going to get to play. And I mean, I like the Marvel movies, but I'll be honest with you, I like them, but I forget them. I really don't know what happened in the last Thor movie or in the last Iron Man movie. Something happened enough to get me into the next film, to
Well,
get me to Avengers.
I like the Avengers, and I remember clearly what happened in the Iron Man 3 movie. I mean, I saw it a number of times. I watched it again because I found it to be very entertaining. Great soundtrack, great music. I mean, but
I think you're absolutely right with the whole plan thing. There was it wasn't even leaked. I think it was just Disney had a roadmap set up, and it showed all the movies that they were going to make through 2017, and that include the Avengers 3, the next Hulk movie, the next
Well,
Thor
they're not,
movie.
but they're not just movies though. The scripts are connected. They have
Oh yeah.
plots that link in. It's kind of like, that's why I can't read comic books now, because you can't read a comic book. You can't just pick up a comic book and read it, because it's like Wikipedia. It links to every other comic book some plot's going to happen that's going to reference Hulk version, alternate universe issue 244-5, and as seen in Thor version 3, Megalopolis or something. And it's like, what the heck's happening here? I don't know. And at some point, we're all going to go into a Marvel movie and we're going to be like, I don't know what's going on, because you have to see them all to really get the big picture.
well, I don't mind seeing them all. I enjoy the Marvel movies. That's me personally. I do like them.
Oh, I think they're fun too. I just don't think they're very distinctive.
Maybe not. Now, what about Watchmen? I enjoyed Watchmen. And I don't think that wasn't a Marvel movie, was it?
No, that apparently Warner Brothers enjoyed Watchmen because they hired the director to basically create their own version in the DC universe. Zack Snyder is going. Not only did he direct Man of Steel, he's also rebooting Batman and doing the Justice League movie. And so he's gonna plot the whole DC connected universe the way Marvel has.
Yeah, and that's fine. I mean, I'm at, Batman versus Superman. I'm looking forward to all those movies. I've seen some of the. He's got Wonder Woman in it.
Aquaman.
Aquaman, yeah, which is all of them look really really good. So I have no.
Yeah, the casting has been very good on the DC movies. I hope the movies follow suit.
And again, with the Man of Steel movie, when you look at Henry Cavill, I mean, I'm sorry, but he's Superman. I mean, he looks the part more than any other actor that I've ever seen. I know they tried to get Nicolas Cage to do Superman. I mean, it didn't.
Craig, we hear you. Keanu Reeves for Superman. We get it, okay?
Henry Cavill is probably one of the best Supermans I've seen because he looks the part. I mean, he really is the part, and if there was to ever be one like it, he would look
Well,
like.
Nicolas Cage, he's not crying. He's in the Left Behind films now. He's doing pretty good for himself.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm sorry, the Left Behind movie looks like trash. The new one, I can't believe they rebooted it. They rebooted Left Behind.
yeah. Important that he didn't like Man of Steel. I thought Man of Steel was well done. I thought it was a very good movie. But anyway, he's coming back in the sequel, so I'm looking forward to that. Any other points we want to make about these movies? There was a couple things, and I went right over the Spider-Man movies was a reboot again.
I want to say that there is another Marvel movie coming out this year.
What?
It is a animated film. Ben, do you know which movie I'm talking about?
No.
It is done by Disney Animation. It is based on a Marvel graphic novel. It is called Big Hero 6.
Oh.
And
I've heard of that.
It is Marvel's first animated film for Disney. So the trailer looks wonderful. It kind of looks a little bit like The Incredibles, but if you need a little Marvel bit, I haven't read the book, but the movie looks really fun.
What's it called again?
Big Hero 6.
Okay, so I can find it on YouTube, the trailer.
In about a month, you're going to see that film everywhere on Burger King cups or McDonald's cups at Walmart. You're probably going to be sick of it before you see it, but it'll be everywhere.
Right. Okay, so I think that's our enough about movies, and because it's Friday night, and we're going to switch back to technology. That's what we primarily do here on the show, and a number of things now. There are a number of interesting stories on the Popzara website. When you hit the tech button there, you can look at there's a bunch of interesting stories, and the CNET has a bunch of them. You want to talk a little bit about Windows 10 because I do know that you installed it, and I'm kind of curious as what you thought about it.
I did install it. In fact, I had a nice chat with our mutual friend Charles Tendell about it. And when we spoke about it too, he was a little hesitant about installing it. He finally figured out how to get it because he doesn't like the idea that Windows is going to be so interlocked with the cloud. But they've been that way since Windows 8. They've been a very Apple-ish about the cloud. I have installed Windows 10 Tech Preview, so I was like everyone else. I was wondering where Windows 9 was, but I was able to install it on my Parallels. It installed very quickly, But a couple things I've noticed, and these are not slights against it, but they're very noticeable things. The installer is exactly the same as the last 3-4 versions of Windows. It's not different even in the slightest. It looks the same, and you say to yourself, "Well, that's okay," but it's been the same installer for 10 years. And then you get into it, and the most astonishing thing is that it doesn't look any different.
Yeah.
And that's what they wanted. It's basically a retrogression back to Windows 7 at this stage, with a lot of Windows 8 sprinkled on top of it. And I got to tell you, I like the changes. I do.
Yeah.
I've been on board with Windows 8 for a long time, but just because I'm on board doesn't mean I like everything. I think a lot of people have unfairly judged Windows 8 for being maybe too ambitious, or maybe ambitious in the wrong way, maybe being too touch-centric. And Microsoft has done a lot of backpedaling. Granted. But with Windows 10, even at this early stage, it does a lot of things right that should have been done last year or even the last 2 years for Windows.
Well, I understand that one of the biggest points with Windows 9, Windows 10 now, is that you still have that Metro interface, but you don't have to run them full screen. You can and their own windows on your desktop.
Well, that's kind of a two-parter because Metro is there, but it's been shrunk and reduced to the start button where it belongs.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been a big proponent of Metro as an idea, but as someone who's been using Yosemite for the past couple months and really liking what Apple's been doing with the notification bar, that's essentially what the new start button is. It's the start button that you know and like and missed, but it's got Metro squished in there, and it's just what you're seeing is you're with the last three versions of Windows, you're seeing Microsoft not knowing what to do, and you're seeing them slowly try things out, almost like Google. They're introducing concepts. Oh, they're taking, okay, let's take away the start, let's put it back. Let's put Metro, let's take it back. Let's do desktop, let's take it back. Let's do cloud, let's take it back. That extends even to the names of these products. It used to be called Metro. We call it Metro. It's not Metro. They didn't have the rights to use the name, so now it's called Modern Interface. And it used to be called SkyDrive. Didn't have the name for that, so now they call it OneDrive. This is a Microsoft scrambling to try to mimic what Apple's been doing as a unified platform while competing mostly against Google. And and like Google doesn't have operating systems that the world compares about. They create a version of Android and they let the carriers deal with it. Microsoft makes a lot of money off Windows. And I know, Ben, we talked before the show, how much is Windows 10 going to cost? And a lot of people say free. That's a good dream, and I hope it's true, but I can't imagine how Microsoft, unless they couple ads, would stand to benefit from giving Windows away when they don't have to. The fact is that they are losing market share. That's true. They are losing a lot of business to Google and Apple. That's true. But the fact is, if they that we're talking 20% of their revenue right off the bat. Apple can do that. Apple doesn't make any money off Mac OS. It's always been free for if you buy the system.
Yeah,
they
used sell to the hardware. They sell the
yeah,
hardware.
they used to sell the software, but they stopped that because they want to sell the hardware.
Mm-hmm.
Microsoft doesn't make any money. Microsoft makes money if someone buys an IBM or excuse me, a Dell, because Dell pays, as an OEM, Dell pays Microsoft a licensing fee. If they give that away for free to the consumer, I don't know. It would be great for the consumer, I guess, but for Microsoft, it's hard to see Microsoft justifying the cost. But more to that point,
Mm-hmm.
if we're just talking as an operating system, my last point about this, it's too early to critique it. I like what I see. I like the start button. I like the Windows apps. They finally make sense to me. Although there is that still like why do we have them as apps instead of just programs? Again, Mac solved that problem 2 years ago. You can run full screen apps in Mac if no one's ever used Yosemite or Mavericks. Using an app is the way it should be on a desktop. Windows 8 is exactly the opposite of how it should be on a desktop. It's like a bipolar operating system. But I like what I see. I can't criticize it too much. I like what they're going with. My only complaints at this point would be that Microsoft not listen to all the haters and listen to all the idiots and the forum dwellers that are never satisfied with everything. You see this a lot in the Android community, and conversely, you don't see it enough in Apple, where they think the reason people buy Windows is so they can put gadgets and widgets. No, 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 no. Most people buy Windows because it's pretty stable and allows them to get to programs they want to use. They're not looking at the desktop all day and saying, wow, what a wonderful desktop. They want to use Outlook. They want to use Word. They want to use Photoshop. And they don't want to have to go through a bunch of hoops and swirl your mouse up and down and gestures to get to that crap. It's not what they want. And the more Microsoft listens to these idiots, the more clunky and cumbersome Windows is going to be. Google doesn't make any money off Android. They make nothing. They make more money off iOS. Don't follow Google's model. Be stable, and if you're going to charge for it, make it a product that people would be happy to buy. And if they follow that, I think they'll have a winner. But they can't keep this bipolar, erratic, give feature, take feature away model. It's not going to work for them.
Well, isn't that easier said than done? I mean, make a product that's people are happy to buy.
If I knew how to do it, I'd be Bill Gates.
Yeah.
But we can all we it's hard for us to compliment Microsoft when they do it right, but it's really easy for us to point out when they do it wrong.
Mm.
And Windows 8 got a lot wrong they shouldn't have. I mean, these are some basic problems they had, and I like it despite the problems, but there's still problems. Metro interface was a problem. It was disjointed, and not to call out features, but with with the new Windows 10, they have something called Continuum, which is nothing like Apple's continuity. But no, it's you plug a keyboard in, it becomes a desktop. You unplug a keyboard, it becomes a tablet. Okay,
Well,
that's
it senses it. It kind of senses the environment that it's in and launches the proper version of itself, which is kind of interesting.
well. You know what I really thought was interesting is when they did their presentation, they kept using the word one, one, one. I like I was telling Charles, I think Microsoft owns stake in the word one,
Hmm.
and every time they use it, that someone gets a royalty. I thought it was going to be called Windows One, but they probably don't have the rights for that. You know, they're saying it's a platform that'll adjust to your phone, your laptop,
Right.
your tablet. They promised that with Windows 8. They gave the exact same presentation 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. The exact same presentation. It's going to be this family. It didn't work then, and because the fulcrum of their whole experiment failed, it was Windows Phone. Started off as Windows 7.5, which was a giant mistake. They discontinued that quickly, very quickly, got rid of that. They got Windows 8 Phone, didn't work. They bought Nokia, ruined they ruined both companies. So what are they going to do with Windows 10? You know what? I'd like to see. I wish them all the best luck. I use Windows. I like Windows. I don't want to see them go away. But Microsoft, you need to stop being Google and Apple. You need to start being what you used to be.
One of the other things that they did, which, listening to what you just said doesn't invoke much confidence, is that last month they spent $2.5 billion to purchase a game that had pretty much already been installed on every computer around the world.
Yep, Minecraft.
Yep.
Yep. Well, and I don't want to dredge up old history, but anybody who follows the game industry, anybody who follows it objectively, knows that Microsoft buying game developers never ends up good for the game developer. You know, they one of the reasons you're seeing so much hoopla over the game Destiny is because Bungie was trapped with Microsoft for 10 years. They clawed their way out of there. But it's not just that. There's literally you can fill a phone book with developers that Microsoft purchased that either went bankrupt, went away, or collapsed. The founders left. All there was left was a shell. It was like a cicada, those those screeching bugs. All there's left is like, oh, we got the Bungie name. You don't got Bungie. We got Age of Empires developer. You don't got Ensemble. You don't have the talent you purchased. And sure enough, they purchased this Mojave or however you pronounce it, Mojang. The first thing the founder did was quit the company. First thing, it's because you don't got the talent anymore. You're buying the name. And what Microsoft is in panic mode. On the game side, I don't want to get too much into video games, but the Xbox One isn't doing too great. And it's not just doing not that great compared to the PlayStation 4, which is doing wonderful. It's not doing as good as Nintendo's Wii U, and that system's not doing very good. Microsoft can't be a third place. They need to be first or second. They can't survive with 2% market share in the phone. They can't do it. They can't do it. Maybe Firefox can, but not Microsoft. So yeah, and by the way, the reason they did that, Ben, is because Minecraft just recently started appearing on PlayStation, published by Sony. So the question, they promised the game would stay on there, but we'll see. We'll see. And the irony of the whole matter is that when the Xbox 360 first came out, it was touted as a HD system. It was going to have photorealistic graphics, and they had a guidebook that said your games can't be pixely. They have to be photorealistic. They have to be clean. It turns out the biggest game on that system turned out to be a game that looked like an Atari game that lets you do anything else. It's because the people will vote with their dollars. Minecraft is the best-selling game on Xbox 360. It's been the best-selling game on iOS, the best-selling game on Android, the best-selling thing on whatever it touches, on PC, everything. The game is a moneymaker.
But it looks like a pixel. It looks blocky.
But that block is attractive. It's saying here's a bunch of Lego pieces. You build whatever you want. You saw that with by the way, the Lego company just recently became the biggest toy company in the world. The Lego movie is the second most successful movie of the year. People like blocks. They like creativity. They don't It's hard to be creative when all the pieces are made, all the pieces look real. You can't build anything with that. You could build what's on the box, but it's not a toy, it's a puzzle. And Minecraft is a toy. You can build whatever you want with it. And you know what? And I look at the game and I can't touch it. I don't want to get involved. It's like I don't want to be addicted to that. But everybody loves it who plays it. And it's a creative game, and there's not enough creativity in video games.
Well, Ben used to play that quite some time. I know Aaron actually created the Facebook version of Computer America. Or Facebook it was done with a Minecraft type.
See, for Aaron though, he is big into mathematics and that kind of thing, and he loved the simplicity of it because each block was a one by one block, and you could create entire patterns if you knew enough geometry and you knew how to calculate it. He could make anything. He had castles, he had giant stadiums, he had anything you could imagine, and he built it all in Minecraft. He spent hours upon hours upon hours, and I'm just digging a hole straight down, seeing how far I can go. But I mean, Minecraft was just great that way because you could do whatever you want, and no one told you no.
But you know what? It was made by this guy in his bedroom, right? And then you have a game like Call of Duty starring Kevin Spacey. It takes $500 million to create this thing, and you have the freedom of a Barbie doll. You can't do anything in the game. You go forward, you shoot up and down, and that's the game. It's a movie. Minecraft, there's more control and creativity in Minecraft than all the Call of Duties, all the Battlefields, all of that stuff put together.
Well, what was it about The Sims? I remember I would watch you, Ben. You would create a whole rooms and a house and an apartment. You would do the whole thing, and it was all in The Sims. Wasn't that sort of Minecraft?
Well, yeah, it's all part of the sandbox environment, and although Sims 4 wasn't quite that, but it's just sandbox, letting people do what they want when they want.
Yep, and The Sims is one of the best-selling series of all time. And they just released a new one. Money in the Bank.
Which is the new one? What's The Sims? What?
It's Sims 4.
Is it Sims 4? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because there was an intentional glitch in that game that people who bootlegged it. Did you see this, Ben? People who bootlegged the game, when they tried playing it, it made the game look like, that's right, Minecraft.
Yep.
All right, hey, we're at the top of the hour already, and we're gonna just pause and then back for another hour of the Computer America Show. Nathan Evans, managing editor of Popzara magazine, is going to stay with us. We have another News Tips Bulletin review from Marty Winston coming up. And, of course, our show reminder winner of the week, all coming up in hour 2 of the Computer America Show. We're going to be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Broadcasting live. It's the only national radio talk show on computers to air every weeknight. Computer America. Hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. The first hour's behind us, but there's still more of tech news, tech talk, and your phone calls. We're being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. You got computer problems? Bring them on. You're listening to Computer America. Computers run the world, and we run computers. Call us or send us an email to live@ComputerAmerica.com.
Hello and welcome into hour 2 of the nation's longest running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. This is the Computer America Show, and I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
And we continue on with Nathan Evans. He stays with us into the second hour, and he's the managing editor of Popzara magazine, and also do you call the podcast the Popzara podcast now?
I know it's not very original, but it gets the job done.
The Popzara podcast.
We tried calling it the CNN podcast, but that was nixed.
No, probably you'd have some copyright issues, I would think, if you did that. Where he has, but the Popzara podcast has some of the world's most erudite personalities appearing on it, and definitely check it out.
I get it because Craig was on it recently, so therefore, okay, I get it. Self-compliment. Took me a second. I got it though.
So the fact that it took him that long to get it just makes me wonder.
I'm very proud of a get we had this week. You're going to appear on the same program as this guy, Craig, when we smoosh it all together. There was a big news regarding tech. Astrophysicist or whatever his title is, Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Oh my gosh! Yes.
He of Cosmos. Yeah, we're not getting him, but we may have got the guy. We may have got the guy who's going to ruin his career.
Oh,
and so it's the next best thing.
Oh, okay.
It's it was.
So it's like you didn't get Lincoln, you got John Wilkes Booth.
We got John Wilkes Booth's second grandma. No, but I don't want to rash over, but it involves tech in a way because it involves Facebook, it involves YouTube, and accountability. I like deGrasse Tyson. I think he opens science up to a lot of people. Yada yada yada. I like a lot of people. I like Mel Gibson, I like what people do and not necessarily what they believe all the time. I can separate them. But when you're a scientist, you rely on your credibility, and as anybody, a journalist will know, you up, you're done. You're just done. You don't want to have a doctor with a 95% success rate. You want 100% sometimes. And DeGrasse Tyson has been making stuff up. And the acolytes who follow him, who don't know anything about science, they take everything in, and that's fine. But they're taking in stuff that's not real. And thanks to YouTube and thanks to Facebook, he was caught. He denied it, denied it, denied it, and denied it, denied it. Eventually, gave a sort of semi apology. Said, "Yeah, it could have happened."
What was it? Oh, can you?
Well, it's very. I know I'm going to shock you with this. It was political. He was making up political quotes and to ridicule politicians and to make points, but they weren't just fabrications for the sake of making a point. It was fabrications to make a political point in a way that damaged someone's career and introduced hostility. Again, there's a lot of people who don't care about that sort of thing. They say, well, I hate George W. Bush. I don't care if he makes stuff up about George W. Bush. But if you care about objectivity and you care about the truth, then it doesn't matter if he's making fun of George Bush, Obama, or Martians. It's still making stuff up. And you're not getting the truth. And to offer that, it pulls into question, well, where's he getting a lot of these quotes? I think we haven't seen the end of it. I think before the end of the day, we're going to find out that Mr. Tyson fabricated quite a bit. And again, I hope it doesn't sully people on science because I think it's an important thing. But I would much rather have the truth than not. I can't put up with a lie. So
Well, it's disappointing because I know Ben's mom really likes him and thinks he's and that's
it's
yeah.
it is what it is. It's hard when you have when you have this force field of the cult of personality that doesn't let reasoning get in. But again, I don't, what I mean, we'll let it play out. This is the side effect of the internet is that you have a lot more eyeballs that can talk about it,
Right. Thank you. And you're under closer scrutiny.
as you should be.
That's exactly. Well, so we're in hour two of the show. In the first hour we talked a lot about movies, and then of course toward the end we started talking about Windows 10 and some of the things that are associated. You had Windows 10. You basically you're giving it a thumbs up so far, and so I'm sorry. Go ahead. So you have other stories you want to talk about that we picked?
I have one.
Okay.
If we're just doing like round robin, I have a couple stories, kind of
Sure.
lined up. This one actually just happened today with Marriott hotels.
Yeah.
I don't know if either one of you saw this, but
Yes.
yeah, they were fined $600,000
Yeah.
by the FCC.
Yeah,
That's-
because they were blocking Wi-Fi hotspots. They wanted people to use their Wi-Fi, and so anybody brought their own, they were intentionally jamming it or blocking it. That's a no-no.
Yep.
Now, you have some of the details on how they were doing that?
Yeah, I actually have the the court order right here, and they and it can get a little dry, but I mean they say that in March 2013 they received a complaint from someone who was at the Gaylord Opryland, and they said that they were quote jamming mobile hotspots so that you can't use them in the convention space. Marriott admitted that one or more of its employees used containment feature of a Wi-Fi monitoring system to prevent customers from connecting to the internet via their own personal Wi-Fi networks. The Bureau investigated this matter, and they found that they were in violation of Section 333, whatever. And yeah, so they were fined $600,000 because they wanted people to use their hotspots.
That's that's actually not uncommon at a lot of tech shows. A lot of presenters. Like I know if you've been to CES, I know you have, Craig. You've been there when they have cell phone congestion. It knocks everybody out and all this. But what happens is that these companies, they want to make money, but they also want you on their network. Because you're monitored and they can serve you ads. You connect to a Wi-Fi spot at McDonald's, you're going to get McDonald's ads. You're going to Burger King, you're going to get Burger King ads. And if you have to connect to their thing. I would be curious, Ben, if Marriott had any special deals with advertisers to filter that through to their to the clients who connected.
And if so, they probably made a heck of a lot more than
Hmm.
$600,000.
Oh yeah, $600,000 is nothing. That's not even a slab. That's a fortune cookie.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
Yeah,
So
I know that most hotels, you have to call down to the front desk and you have to get the password and everything, and then you sign in through the portal that, wherever you're signing in through, they make you sign in through their portal, which I'm sure gives you, a different set of ads than if you just, had your own.
and it's also your information is data tracked. I mean, nothing you do like you don't do anything risque if you're connecting to a hotel. You don't do anything with banking. You don't do any of that stuff. Everything is logged. It's data logged. So I know when I go, I try to bring a mobile hotspot with me just because. But
Well, what
yeah,
happens if you bring your own VPN? So you're going through them, but then you launch a VPN and then they can't track you.
Not like what happened here, that wouldn't have worked because, it says here that will cause they said that the whatever the employee was using to block these things, that when activated will cause the sending of de-authentication packets to Wi-Fi internet access points that are not part of Marriott's Wi-Fi system and are not authorized by Marriott and classified as quote-unquote rogue. So even if you use a VPN, it would still send that packet and it would deauthorize it, knock it out, and make you only like VPN's good for hiding your identity and things like that, but it would still receive those packets and it would knock you off.
I'll tell you what. If you've ever been to the Marriott, you know their coffee is terrible and their continental breakfast is horrible. I can't imagine these people have state of the art Wi-Fi trackers. I think if you're a super Uber geek, you're probably cracking that stuff like a fortune cookie. But what I'm interested in is it sounds like if Marriott was fine, it sounds like this was a protocol that was in place for the chain. And I'm really wondering how many other hotels now have this similar thing. These hotels don't work in a vacuum. It's not that some nerd at Marriott said I'm going to go shop at Fry's and go pick up a blocker. This sounds like this was a branding thing. This was done by Marriott, and that's why they were the Marriott hotels was found guilty. I'm curious now because I've been at some hotels before where the Wi-Fi is horrendous and everything else is blocked. You know, your iPhone 6, I'm sorry, you have an iPhone 5.
I bet.
iPhone 6s and I know Android phones, they're their own hotspots now.
Yep.
You can turn them into a hotspot. You don't even need to go out of the way to get it. It's all included in the package. That's a removable feature of your phone that's your property. And I'm glad Marriott was fine, but 600,000 is not enough.
Oh yeah, no, it's peanuts to say the least. Especially, they actually have it in here that they own more than 4,000 locations nationwide. So if you split up 600,000 among 4,000 locations, just kind of spread the damage. I mean, each one's paying like what, $30 or something like that. It's not even like a slap on the wrist.
Hey, look at
But
that! My hotel reservation just went up $30.
oh yeah,
Thank you, Mary, because that's what they're going to do.
oh yeah.
They're going to pass the cost right back to the user.
Yeah, and but also, back to your point saying that, how many other hotels do this. They have it in here that subsequent to learning of the Bureau's investigation, Marriott instructed the properties under its management or control not to use this containment capability in the manner it has been used at the Gaylord Opryland, which is where, this whole thing took place. So it was probably going on in other places, but as soon as they got fined that one time, they're like, whoa, 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 stop doing that. We got in trouble.
Hmm.
Well, it's. I think as punishment they should be ordered to pay, and they should also be ordered to give every customer free bagels with better cream cheese because again, it's lacking.
Either that or make their continental breakfast multi-continental, because right now it's just whoever makes dry cereal and toast.
Dry
That's all they
cereal
want.
in those little boxes. It's breakfast by Sam's
Did
Club.
they even offer a muffin or something?
They have.
Or a
They have.
or a bagel?
You, when you can't tell the muffin from like the scouring pad the maid uses, it's not a good deal.
Uh, wow.
Yeah, but and if we never really mentioned it before, the reason that they were penalized at all is because legally you're not allowed to block any communication services like that. without some kind of court order or something like that. You can't block Wi-Fi, cell phone service, whatever,
That's an
unless you
FCC.
have permission.
That's an FCC. That's standard FCC
Yeah.
regulations. You can't.
So
If you buy a product that transmits or something, it says right there that it will not. It can't. Its transmission can't block the other transmission frequencies. It can't interfere with them, and it says it can't interfere.
Yep.
And that's standard. That's been on for a long time.
So that was what they ran. That's what the fine was for. It was for going against the FCC.
It's the
Cell phone.
FCC.
What about cell
Nope.
phone blockers in movie theaters, though?
Illegal. They're legal in certain parts of Europe. I think France has a right to use cell phone blockers. But we all want them. We all want them. We all want people to shut up and stop texting while we're trying to watch the film. But all signs, Craig, point to them going the opposite direction. A lot of theaters are starting to put Twitter-friendly rows and tweeting they're permissible and Wi-Fi because they don't care if you're watching the film, and they certainly don't care if your giant iPhone 6 screen is blocking the view of somebody else. They just want your 15 bucks to
Yeah.
be in the theater because that's why you pay 15 bucks to go into a dark theater is to use Twitter on your phone.
No, of course.
So it's the apocalypse.
Yeah. Uh, and it's you see now when you go into a movie theater they'll have now it's please silence your phones, turn them off, and even silencing your phone isn't enough because the screen glows, so they want you not even to turn them on.
And if you're in a 3D movie, I was in a 3D movie a couple months ago, and people had again these Galaxy phones. You can't see the 3D as well. It blocks it out. It interferes with the projection.
Did you
Well, yeah. Assuming a light source coming in at a different angle is going to mess up,
did you
everything.
did you complain to the management?
Well, you know what? This is right around the time when that man shot that other man for complaining that he was on his cell phone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you want to be careful who you perturb in the theater. But no, I look. If people pay 15 bucks, they should be able to do what they want. But they should do like Broadway does. In Broadway, if some butthole brings a phone in the theater, the performance I think it Kevin Spacey or it was some actor. No, it was Neil Patrick Harris. He stopped the show and he started yelling at the person to put his thing down in character. That's what we need. We need to have 3D holographic movie characters shaming people who have things. It's sort of like Jaws and Back to the Future too.
Did it work? Did it work, by the way?
I think so. They didn't really follow it up, but I hope it did. But you know, but if you go to Broadway, you're paying like $200 to go see
Yeah,
it. Like,
right.
get off your phone, please.
Right.
But I don't know. It's who knows? It's these people. I mean, these people know that these people drive on their phones and they cause accidents. So
It's not like they don't know. They know if you're going into a theater where you're paying $200 or something a ticket, and you have a lot of people in there, and you know that you're supposed to keep your phone turned off. It's not like I didn't realize. It's none of that. They know.
look, people buy cigarettes, and every single pack of cigarettes has a warning label: death, pregnancy malfunctions, all sorts of things. People still smoke, and when they get cancer, they blame the cigarette companies. No personal responsibility. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry when I see someone dying when they're on Facebook or Twitter in their car. But when I see someone walking across the street and they fall into a manhole, I laugh. I think that stuff is funny. I think more manholes, because if you're that stupid and oblivious that you're walking into a giant thing, that's something out of Looney Tunes. That's
That
something out of Merry Melodies.
that is
That's
spatial awareness.
that is amazing. That we need more of that. More holes in the streets for cell phone people, please.
Well, yeah. What was it? The one that we saw, it was about a year ago. A woman who was texting on her phone in the mall, and she
Walked into a fountain, and the security guards laughed, and she sued the mall.
It's not her fault because she was on the cell phone.
Well, you can sue anybody. The question was, did she collect anything? Did she win that suit?
Probably not.
Well, I know I'd never hire her, except for comedy relief. Here, you got one skill. You're good at walking in a straight line. Grab a broom. There you go. If you're gonna be stupid, you might as well be productive.
Well,
We should Google that and see if that woman won anything. In that.
The sad thing is, she
like
probably
I'm sure they
did.
settled. Yeah, I'm sure they settled out of court just to get her away.
Craig, remember Coffee Lady at McDonald's?
Oh yes, she burned herself, and
She put
yeah.
coffee in between her legs and a phone. I mean, without a cap on between her legs, and they told her it was hot, and she knew it was hot. It's hot coffee, and she burned herself, and she won. She won that lawsuit. You can't make it up.
Well, because the jury was sympathetic,
I tried the same thing with the Shamrock Shake. Did not work.
It's too cold.
I
Yeah.
know.
I got a nummy feeling. No, I don't know. I just personal responsibility. There should be a threshold. At some point, you shouldn't have to be told that something is stupid. You shouldn't have to be. There should be some common sense because where's it at? When I was a kid, we bought Superman outfits, and actually now they say if you buy a Superman outfit, wearing this cape will not enable you to fly.
No way.
Yeah, there was John Stossel on Fox. He did a story about the whole story. You should anybody listening go look up John Stossel stupid things, and he told stories about he bought a toaster, and inside the toaster it said improper use of this toaster may result in death.
Mhm.
Killer toaster. You know,
So from like bathtub people, right?
bathtub people. You know what? You laugh, but they have all those commercials on in daytime television for all the old people who have bars on their bathtubs. But you know what's going to happen? Bathtubs are going to be so litigious that every bathtub's going to have one of those safety bars and seats where you can't even enjoy standing up. You got to sit down to enjoy. Actually, it doesn't sound that bad. Actually,
Turn every bathtub into a slip and slide. I mean, that's not that bad.
turn every bath. Just put a shower over the toilet. Problem solved.
Actually, that whole thing actually kind of segues nicely into a completely different story. And I'm sure we talked about the celebrity photos that were leaked last month.
Yeah.
Well, apparently Hollywood knows nothing about how the internet works, and hopefully our listeners do. But just to give you a sense of what's happening, is that celebrities have this lawyer that I'm pretty sure it's a lawyer that just went around to all the celebrities and saying, "Hey, let me represent you. I'm going to try to get us some money." And the lawyer is trying to sue not Apple, not the hackers, not 4chan who was blamed, first off. They are trying to sue Google for having access to all of these photos.
Yeah, was it? It wasn't Gloria Allred, was it? She likes to sue everyone.
No, it's the lawyer Martin D. Singer.
I don't like to learn their names because there's just too many of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're suing Google because they claim that Google hosted the images. To be honest with you, Ben, this is a very funny story because there is a large contingent of people who think a lot of these quote unquote hacks were coordinated. It's the greatest publicity buzz a lot of these actresses have ever had. And you look at these photos, they're not even selfies. I've seen them. They're not selfies. Unless you have a third arm that's across the room, you can't take a picture of yourself butt naked, bent over a couch. That's not a selfie. That's a photo that somebody else took.
Yep.
And and I swear, there's actually litigation involved because you think I'm joking, but there's courts deciding, is it a selfie? Because there was a case involving a monkey about 2 months ago. Did you hear about this?
Yep.
The photographer claimed that he owned the photos that the monkey took, but Wikipedia claimed the monkey owned the photo. The courts ruled that the man owned the picture because the monkey couldn't have was being a monkey doesn't own the copyright laws. So now a lot of this, what do they call it? What's the proper radio term for what happened? The iCloud hacks or whatever.
Yeah.
The courts are claiming, well, the person suing doesn't have a right to sue because they didn't take the photo. They don't own the photo.
They
It's
were
the
just
person.
the subject matter.
Exactly. So it's kind of funny, but again, unless you have a disembodied bodied hand taking photos of your butt crack, that's not you. That's someone else. And so they really don't have a leg to stand on. But they have a couch to lean on, and they could take some more photos and get some more publicity out of it.
Yep. And one of the quotes here from the lawyer is that, quote, Google, one of the largest ISPs in the world, not even true, with vast resources and huge support staff, generating multi-millions of dollars in revenues on a daily basis, has recklessly allowed these blatant violations to continue in conscious disregard for our clients' rights.
They're paraphrasing European law that because Google recently lost a lawsuit in Europe at a politician who demanded, you probably remember this, the right to be
The
forgotten.
right to be free. Yeah.
We are not Europe, thank God. We are not Europe. We do not act like them. And so you do not have a right to be forgotten if you make mistakes. This is not, this is not Control Alt Delete. These people, what you're seeing, Ben, is them carefully crafting a perfectly worded extortion letter that they put out in the public to entice Google to make a settlement to these women and make it all go away. This thing will never go to court. They don't have any ground to stand on. But as we've seen over and over and over and over again, you raise a lot of ruckus, and eventually they will pay to shut you up. And that's the court system right now. Google,
Yep.
this will never go to court. It's ridiculous.
Oh no. Well, it probably won't, and I think it was worth bringing up just to show that even though it's buzzworthy, it's been in the news, it's crazy, and you'd think everyone would do their due diligence in researching this. Google is not at fault, and to sue them for $100 million isn't solving anything. They weren't the one that hacked they weren't the one that hacked the photos. They weren't the one that were providing them or anything like that. It's just people get this in their mind that Google is the internet. You go to Google and then you browse the rest of the internet through Google.
Well,
and that's just not how it works.
Well, kind of. The lawsuit I actually read it before, that they're claiming because Google is so pervasive. There are services that Google uses to host, for example, YouTube, Google Plus. Google actually stores the image. So instead of actually passing through a link, they're claiming that Google's services, they've narrowed them down, and Google owns a large part of the internet. They're claiming that Google themselves intentionally hosted and refused to take down these things. Google does this with a lot of things. Courts have already proven multiple times that Google's not responsible for this. Again, it's a carefully crafted extortion letter. It's using the same modus operandi that the idiots that claimed responsible for the iCloud hacks. There was no iCloud hack. iCloud wasn't hacked. People put passwords like Fluffy Bunny, and they got their nude photos leaked. I think there's more going on here. I think like everything on the internet, somebody sees an opportunity to make money off somebody else's stupidity. It's a great formula, and it works. I mean, I'm still looking for someone to sue. If you know of anybody who's really stupid, let me know so we can make some money.
Yeah.
Ben, but I don't want to see nude photos of you.
No, well, they're out there.
I will pay not to see them.
Let's just say they're out there, okay, folks?
Here's a public service announcement from GI Joe and everybody. If you don't want nude photos of yourself appearing, don't take them. It's that simple. Don't take them if you don't want. That's what a photograph is supposed to be. It's supposed to be seen. You're not writing in your diary for no one else to see. You're creating a visual image made up of binary ones and zeros. Eventually, somebody will see it. And if you don't want that to happen, don't take one.
You take it. That's it.
Don't do it. If you don't want someone to find the body, don't kill the person. Don't take the photo. Just do something else with your time.
Jack in the chat room has a good piece of advice. He says we should only need one warning label. Don't be stupid.
And then the lawyers come in and make it fun. Jack, you're a wise man. Unless you're Adam Sandler, then you could be a Jill.
Well, yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh. Well, again, you listen to the Computer America Show on the Boost Radio Network, on the IRN Radio Network, and on the Blog Talk Radio Network. Nathan Evans is here with us. We're just basically all over the road tonight. It's Friday night. After the next break, we're going to announce our show reminder winner of the week. Let me just take this moment to tell you about our contests, because they are up. They are in full swing. Just head over to our homepage. Just go onto our contest page. It's under the first pull-down menu. You'll see all the contests that we have. We have our Logitech contest where we're giving away 3 great prizes. It will finish October the 24th at midnight. At midnight, and then over the weekend we'll draw the 3 winning names, and then we'll announce the 3 winning names. Our third place prize is the Logitech HD webcam C310, valued at $50. The second place prize is the Logitech G400S optical gaming mouse, valued at $60. And the grand prize is the Logitech X300 mobile wireless stereo speaker, valued at $70. And the grand prize, it's the first time we're giving away this prize, when you're the winner, you get to pick any one of the 4 colors that it comes in. So again, just it's very simple. Just send us your full name, shipping address, and phone number, and send it to contest@computeramerica.com. All the instructions are up here as well. All the information is private. We don't resell we don't do any of that stuff. We keep in full confidentiality, and then when the contest is over, we just toss everything and start all over again. Unless, of course, you're a winner, and then we will give the Logitech your contact info so they can mail you your prize. It's just that simple. So that's our Logitech contest. As I said, it finishes at the end of this month. And, of course, every Friday we have our show reminder winner. And the way that works is just when you just subscribe to our weekly email newsletter, the show reminder. It is the only publication in the universe which talks about who's going to be on the Computer America show for the entire week. There's a place to put your first and last name and your email address. You click the blue submit button. It'll send you a confirmation email to which you must reply. And once you do that, you'll get every Monday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Time our show reminder newsletter. And it also talks about who the show reminder winner of the week is in the newsletter. And every Friday, from that list of subscriber names, we draw a winning name. Right now, we're giving away the Logitech T650 rechargeable glass touchpad at $70. And we're going to be announcing that name when we come back from our next commercial break. So head over to ComputerAmerica.com, enter in all of our contests. You have a lot of fun playing them, and who knows, you might win something really, really nice.
Okay. Can guests win?
No, unfortunately, guests.
Neither can co-hosts. This is crap.
Yeah. Nor can hosts, for that matter. Okay, so you can't enter these contests. But if you're not a host, co-host, or a guest of the show,
what if I use the VPN?
That's right. Then how would they mail it to you?
You can mail it to him at he's staying at the Marriott, room 340.
Exactly. He has his own Wi-Fi network there. Okay. Anyhow, Nathan Evans, managing editor of Popzara magazine, is here with us. Quite delighted. By the way, if people want to listen to the Popzara podcast, because you have such these wonderful guests appearing on it, can they do it right at the Popzara website?
They can, because we've made it so easy. But they can search for Popzara on iTunes. We're on TuneIn Radio, and pretty much every other podcast feed that I could find at 3 a.m.
Right. Okay, well, you're listening to the Computer America Show on the Boost Radio Network, on the Blog Talk Radio Network, and the IRN Radio Network. We're going to break for some commercial messages, and then we'll be right back. When we come back, we're going to have our show reminder winner of the week. That's all coming up on the Computer America Show. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 120,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy and major car companies filing for bankruptcy, Cover America Auto Care has announced revolutionary, inexpensive mechanical breakdown coverage that is now available to the general public to save consumers thousands on auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for drivers to call who own a vehicle that is less than 10 years old for a free 5-minute quote and to see if you qualify. The number is 800-483-2514. Drivers who are covered with this auto protection will not have to pay for a covered repair again. This is the auto coverage now sweeping across America at a fraction of what dealerships charge and is now available to the public by calling today. The number to call is 800-483-2514. 800-483-2514. That's 800-483-2514.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number. 1-866-663-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So, disable the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99 and up to 4 rooms. And there's no equipment to buy. That includes your free HD upgrade, your free DVR upgrade, and your free professional installation. And the best part, the pristine digital picture and sound. Call 1-866-663-MyTV. So, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-866-663-MyTV. 1-866-663-MyTV. Disable the cable, cut costs, and get more. Call 1-866-663-MyTV. 1-866-663-MyTV.
Hello, this is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. This time, the Waterfall Audio Stereo, that's S-E-R-I-O. For anybody who follows our reviews of quality audio here, and for everybody else who cares, our criterion is easy to say and hard to accomplish: acoustic transparency. By that, we mean that nothing should color or weight or distort or hamper every detail and every nuance you might hear if you are in the studio live as the recording is made. More audio transparency often, but not always, means a higher sticker price. It's also a claim you should never believe from a seller, and depending on how refined your own audio tastes are, or may not be, all of this may or may not make a difference. All of that is a lead up to our review of the Waterfall Audio Stereo, an amazingly good small speaker with a design that looks more like a decor piece than a sound enthusiast's treat. It's a 5-inch by 5-inch glass frame surrounding a hefty 3-inch audio driver in an aluminum housing that makes the whole small package 3.5 inches thick. The specs: 150 watts peak, but 30 to 80 watts is their sweet spot. 87 decibel sensitivity, so good detail, and a response range of 180 hertz to 20 kilohertz. So they benefit from teaming with woofers, and we can confirm these are consistent with what we hear. These specs are consistent with what we hear. Now, when we were discussing LED emitters, we mentioned étendue, and talking about the focal point of the LED in flashlights, where bigger emitters put out more relatively small size of these. The stereo similarly benefits sound image, especially noticeable for stereo or surround sound. Stereo is nimble enough to respond quickly on percussion, and plucked strings are crisp and not the least bit muddy. They're wonderful at bringing out the detail within the audio. One warning: the price tag is right up there with the sound quality, and in our opinion, worth it if you can find the Waterfall Audio Stereo is a small wonder in speakers for both the ears and the eyes. This is Marty Winston with the News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. 34 minutes past the hour. Thank you, Marty Winston, for that. You will get 2 brand new ones. Those are the last time that you will be hearing those 2. And 2 new ones, one for the first hour, one for the second hour, coming out Monday.
Yes, we got a whole new suite of them, by the way.
Oh, very cool. Greg, any comment about how expensive those speakers are? You've done it 4 nights in a row. Why not make it 5?
Well, that's because Nate's here tonight. Nate, would you guess how much those speakers cost that he was talking about?
Well, you can't see me, but I would put my little pinky up to my mouth and go, $1 million. No, I'm terrible when it comes to pricing. I was on Price is Right, but I lost.
You were on Price is Right?
No, I'm kidding. But if I was, I would have lost. I think everything is overpriced. I'm a price luddite. I think everything is expensive.
If you look at the picture of the waterfall speakers, you can look at them, but they're made out of glass. They're really pretty looking, but they're $55,000 a set.
That's it. You could put right next to your $10,000 curved screen Samsung TV.
Yeah, really. Wow. Anyhow, it is the bottom of the second hour, and it's Friday night. Yay, Friday! So we should do our show reminder winner of the week.
Yeah, sure.
Exactly. All right. Well, let's do that. I'm going to play the digital drums for the winner, and this week's show reminder winner is Christy Caldwell. Christy, congratulations. You won the Logitech Wireless Rechargeable Touchpad T650. $90, $79.99. You are this week's show reminder winner.
And as you can hear, our winner, that our assistant, Nathan Evans, is typing up your winning resume right now.
Yes, he has a very loud keyboard, which we can hear. Exactly.
No, loud keyboard or great microphone.
Either way. Could be. He thinks it's the loud keyboard, though. But again, Christy, congratulations! You are our show reminder winner. You'll be contacted by Logitech, and expect it to be contacted by Logitech. This happened, I think, 2 weeks ago. We had a show reminder winner, and we announced him, and he was notified by Logitech. He wrote back saying that he was afraid to answer them. Now he knew he had entered the contest, so he knew it was it was good.
Maybe he's so used to being kicked while he's down that he never really thought he'd actually win anything.
Yeah, and I said no. I responded back to him. I said no, you actually won. Congratulations. That was very nice, and then he was very nice. Wrote back and said, well, thank you so much, sir. Given the state of everything, I just wanted to make sure that I won. And I said, yeah, you won them, and give her your contact info, and they're going to mail you, your prize. The T650 to you. So I'm sure he's gotten it by now, and he's very glad. And we're glad that he won, really. Okay. So, we're in the last half hour of the show. Time flies when you're having fun.
Is that what this is?
Yeah, Nathan's making it fun. Nathan Evans, managing editor, and who also shows wonderful taste in hiring, not hiring, and inviting people to speak on his podcast.
My Rolodex is short, but it's it's quality over quantity.
I actually went to the podcast page, and there is the Computer America, and it has your name there, Ben, with Ben Crossman. Popzara podcast. It says E3.03, which is what stands for what?
Episode 3. It's like Star Wars, but without the Wookiees.
03. Okay. Craig Crossman and Computer America Radio. Wacky hijinks and crazy talk with the host of the Computer America Radio show, Craig Crossman. And you actually have a dedicated page to it. It says, hello and welcome to it. Wait, are we on the right station? Yes, you are still listening to the Popzara podcast, but not if today's special guest has anything to say about it. Do not adjust that dial. It's interesting because we actually started off the Popzara podcast with our introduction music to Computer America, and then we finished it up too. When we were signing off, we played the outro music and everything. It was just like doing the show.
Hence the introduction. Well, we couldn't use the original title for your piece, Craig.
Really? No. What was the original title?
Sedation and no, I'm just kidding. Sedation and medicating those you love.
Let me just play a few moments of it so you'll hear for yourself.
Broadcasting live. Okay. America's longest running national radio talk show.
Haven't heard that before.
Yeah.
Computer America. Hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman.
So what's going on?
Look for Craig's weekly column in your favorite newspaper. This show is nationwide at computeramerica.com. Keep it here for technology news.
That sounds like the beginning.
Guest interviews, and your phone calls. You're listening
to that's good.
America.
No, you haven't tuned into the wrong radio station because, well, this ain't a radio. It's a podcast, the Popzara podcast. And I'm your host, Nathan Evans. And speaking of radio, my guest today has a radio career that's outlasted 4 U.S. presidents.
Well, there you go. So, I don't want to play the whole podcast, but because we only have the last half hour. But again, you can hear it at popzara.com.
Or iTunes. No, I'm just kidding.
And I'm sorry that you were only, you only got the pretty face of Computer America, not the personality and the intellect. But, schedule conflicts, these things happen.
Can't we do it? We can do another one later on. We can have Ben on with us.
Actually, I think that would be great. I had actually, Ben actually helped me with that joke, although he didn't know it. I actually emailed him and I asked him how old the show was.
Yeah.
And because I wanted to create a timeline of, it's like sort of when paleontologists like to define eras, they like to say how many animals went extinct. So I said, well,
1991.
how? Sorry.
1991, exactly.
Lots of presidents, lots of things, and you will survive. You will survive Ebola. I promise.
Oh, thank goodness. I was worried about that. By the way, we did fix something. If you go to the Computer America website, I should thank you for reminding me. I want to mention this. If you click on the archives selection at the top of the screen, and it says Audio Archives iTunes, we have fixed that. It now goes to the correct iTunes. First of all, it'll launch the iTunes preview in your browser, and we now have the correct Computer America podcast at the Blog Talk Radio Network. I was able to fix this. It took some research, but I was able to correct it. And then, of course, you can launch it in iTunes as well. But now we do now have it pointing to the correct location.
It could be tough. We dealing with iTunes. It can be tough because you pretty much submit your stuff to Apple and you hope they get it.
Yeah, and that was the other thing, because you figure, oh, how long? I was very surprised. I used one of the features in iTunes to notify them that they had the wrong podcast, the old podcast, which was totally inactive, and I put it up there. Wouldn't you know it? The next day, the next morning, I went there. It was gone. They had removed it. They kept it. It was my other fears that they were going to take off the wrong one, but they took off the correct one. And now the one on the Blog Talk Radio that has all of our episodes is the only. If you search for Computer America now on iTunes, you'll find the correct podcast. You won't be misled anymore.
I will say this though: I've all the podcast feeds and all the readers and everything. iTunes is the best. The others are nice, but their feeds don't always update on time, and sometimes they skip out. But bugs aside, it's been a good experience, at least for us.
Well, there. That's good. That's good to hear. Yeah, exactly. All right,
So,
so we got that corrected. So it's all correct enough on iTunes. So I know we're in the last half hour here. Are we going to talk? We're going to talk games now. Or are we going to talk tech? What? I know Ben had a couple of stories. We have about half an hour left. What did you want to talk?
Half an hour, closer to 15 minutes now, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, 15 minutes. Yeah, exactly. So what would you like to discuss? Silence. Crickets.
Talking to me?
well, Ben, you're a gamer. You're
Yeah.
a gamer, so you do know the next couple months are going to be gamer paradise. All the big stuff comes out. They just
Hmm.
glob it right out in stores.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I've been keeping track. It's just like it's so subliminal at this point that they keep hitting you with it. I know that there's going to be a new Halo coming out. The next expansion for World of Warcraft, I'm really excited about. I have heard through the grapevine that the next iteration of Call of Duty, it's like Advanced Warfare 2, or no, it's Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. It's the one after Ghost, which was last year's Call of Duty, because every year they come out with a new Call of Duty, or quote unquote new. This year, they have received less than half of the pre-orders for this iteration of Call of Duty than they did last year.
Not surprising. You know what? The franchise is long. It wasn't going to last forever. And what's funny is, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear.
Okay, sorry, my phone glitched for a second. My headset. No, this one's got Kevin Spacey in it, and that's the innovation. It's got Frank Underwood.
Really?
No, it's got the actor, but it's. What's funny? It's in. I'm going to be a little geeky here, but in the original House of Cards, the original. Watch the British one. I like them both equally, but the British one has a wonderful performance. And the very first line in the very first episode is "Nothing lasts forever." And with Call of Duty, nothing lasts forever. You have Bungie's Destiny out there taking a lot of the thunder. You have, like you said, you call it new Halo, but it's actually old Halo with new shine.
Yeah.
You have all this stuff coming out, and just it's hard to keep selling the same thing every year, year after year.
Is that what
after
they're doing?
year.
They're selling the same thing year after year?
Pretty much. I mean, there's some. It's window dressing, but I mean, for the most part, it's the same experience.
The
We talked about this, that there were no new games, that they were all came under the same categories. There was nothing new.
There are new games. There's lots of new stuff. It's mostly happening in the indie circuit, though. You have to look. You have to peek under the table and see what's not getting all the attention. In fact, I think we've talked about on the show is that one of the reasons why these big games get so much attention why Activision, EA will throw everything but the kitchen sink. They have to push them out now fast for the shareholders because their stock valuation can depend on how much money they make. They need to say, and Craig, mark your calendar
Yeah.
because you're going to start seeing things like Activision announces the single biggest day in entertainment history or the single biggest day in gaming history. It's all about the words and how can they manipulate it and make the perfect, factually correct but yet still somewhat suspicious headline. And it doesn't, for them, they rely on that. They need that headline. And that headline is more important than the game quality. It's more important than a lot of stuff to these people because they're a business and they got to Call of Duty is $1 billion business. It's huge. And, but it's probably exhausted, and
Yeah.
they can only sell it so many times.
It's it. I think I come across from a different point of view, and unfortunately, I can't be, the complete journalist, and I can't be the complete gamer because I know too much of each to do either one. But I mean, it's the same thing, and I think the big sellers this year are going to be reboots, sequels, and that kind of thing. They're not going to be the big sellers. Are not going to be any indie titles. But I mean, you got the new Halo, which is like the Halo Master Collection. And the big thing with that, though, is that they closed down Halo 2. Halo 2 really ushered in MLG, which is a Major League Gaming, which was the predecessor to esports, right? Or at least the humble beginnings of esports, which now is just blowing up. I mean, esports are huge. And people remember fondly of Halo 2, but they closed down those servers to make room for Halo 3 servers and kept those going, and Halo 2 was gone forever. But with the Master Chief Collection that's coming out, Bungie or not Bungie, Microsoft is going to be uh, reopening the servers for Halo 2. And it's going to have all the same quirks, it's going to have all the same bugs in it, and it's going to be just like going back to the past and getting to play your favorite game all over again.
Yay, and you know what?
With updated, shiny graphics.
And maybe they'll bring out Windows 95 again,
Yeah.
when with a special blue screen of death DLC where you can, aren't you tired of your predictable operating system? Don't you want random crashes?
But games have that nostalgia thing which goes for it.
They do, but you know what though? The problem is that game's only on the Xbox One, and
Yeah.
Halo is not the system seller it was years ago.
Well, here's one that I believe is going to be on the PlayStation 4 and maybe the Xbox One. I haven't really looked into it, but there was a preview that came out a little while ago, and it went under a suspicious title. Like the title didn't have anything to do with what it turned out to be, but it was like a first person. You could go 3D. It was in high definition, and you were simply walking around a house. You were looking for clues. Kind of going this, kind of go that. And you got this eerie, suspicious, someone following you. You see shadows dart here and there, doors close. And you had a really good horror vibe from it.
Oh yes, you're talking about PE.
Yeah.
PE is it was a code name for a cross promotion game that was made by a Japanese developer called Hideo Kojima. And
Yep.
Hideo Kojima is known for Metal Gear Solid, and pretty much that's it these days. But he teamed up with a Mexican American director, Guillermo del Toro,
hmm
and they starred the guy Norman Reedus, the guy who plays Daryl, the sexy redneck,
From The Walking Dead.
yeah, The Walking Dead, and what they did is they're going to reboot the Silent Hill franchise, which is
But
great.
That was some movie. The original Silent Hill. The sequels I didn't care for.
no one did.
But it's the game though. It was a game series first.
Yeah,
and
and I realized that. But the movie actually was one of the few movies I saw that was based on the video game that I liked. It was actually very good.
yeah, the first one was great because the director was this great French director. And if you haven't seen this movie, go watch it. It's called The Brotherhood of the Wolf. And if you haven't seen it, it's like a French Matrix. It's a fantastic film. Great. He made the first Silent Hill, and we don't talk about the second one,
Oh.
but no, there.
Was just. I mean, it was a terrifying movie. It was done so well. I mean, it had effects that I had never seen before either. It was just the characters were the guy who was it. What's the name of the guy who wears the big triangular hat?
Oh,
Pyramid Head. Pyramid
yeah.
Head.
Pyramid Head.
But
Hammerhead.
but
Okay.
the games, right? The games are whether the games. the first three are decent. There's another one that's pretty good. There was one on the Wii that was pretty good, but the Silent Hill 2, which is considered the best one, it's very psychological. It's very, I mean, this is a series that had its ups and downs. It was never as popular as Resident Evil, but it was always about psychology. And my favorite edition again was on the Nintendo Wii. There was no combat in the game. You walked around and you carried a flashlight and you talked to strange characters, and it was all psychological and it was very, very cool. It was you have this character going through a garage and he looks at a picture of a Playboy calendar, and the game remembers that. And when you meet female characters later on, they have big bosoms and their cleavage is showing. It would adjust itself depending on how you experience. And again, no combat, and but most of the Silent Hill games were crap, and I'm glad they're rebooting it because it needed it.
Yeah.
And you think the movie's same way? They made the sequel, so there's not going to be any.
They haven't said anything about new movies and things like that. It's good to see that the game is getting back to basics, and although very rarely do games translate well to video games. Although I did hear of one director who is famous, absolutely famous, for taking video game franchise, like video game titles, and he takes them and then he just absolutely butchers
You could be talking about one of two people, and they're both terrible.
They're both terrible, but one of them is has made a career out of it, and I believe he did like a not Dungeons, yeah,
Yes,
he did a Dungeons and Dragons version that didn't do too well.
You're talking about the German. His name is Yui Boll.
Yui Boll.
The Tom Hanks movie about Dungeons and Dragons?
No. Yui Ball is the worst director who ever lived. He is Roger Corman without the talent.
Oh my God.
He is what's that director, Plan 9 from Outer Space? You know who I'm talking about.
Okay.
He's horrible. He's horrible, and no one knows how his movies get made. But they get made and they star big name stars.
They figured out how it was. He's German, and it turns out that people who were funding him up to like there wasn't any limit. If you funded it, then you could write the entire funding of the movie off as a tax write-off.
Yes, and it's when I remember hearing about that, and we've talked to some of the stars of his films on the website before. He made a movie called Blubberella about an obese crime fighter who fights Nazis. And that was one of his best films. This guy has made garbage, drivel. He has taken video game movies and destroyed them all.
You're not about Ed Wood, are you?
Ed Wood directed Plan 9. That's the one I was. Yeah, you're right, Craig. Ed Wood is Steven Spielberg compared to this guy. This guy is awful. And you know what? You want to see his films? Just go to Netflix and type in Yui Boll, and there they are. They're all there, and they're all bad. And by the way, the other man you could have been, Ben, was it Paul W. Anderson? It was one of the Paul Andersons.
Mm.
He made a Mortal Kombat.
The first one wasn't bad.
No, the first one wasn't that bad. The second one was really, really,
I didn't like that.
bad.
But with Yui Boll, he actually went up. I don't know where he gets the cojones to do this. He walked up to Activision Blizzard and said, I would like the rights to make the Warcraft movie. And they laughed him out of the room. They said, it has to be done right, and you never do anything right. Get out of here.
Let's see, the director of Blubberella and In the Name of the King, or David Bowie's son?
Yeah.
Yeah, not a hard choice.
That just sprung to mind. But, I mean, as far as video games go, there's going to be a lot of sequels, a lot of refreshes.
There's a big one today. One of the biggest games of the year came out today.
Alien.
No, good game. No, Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
Super Smash Brothers on the Nintendo DS, 3DS came out today. Everybody's saying, well, where's the Wii version, Nintendo? But the Wii U. But no, it's going to be a big seller. Pretty much every single person on the Popzara staff that plays games bought it, including your friend Grayson Hamilton.
Yep.
They're all addicts, but in a good addict.
It's one of those games that you can pick up. It's easy to learn, hard to master. And those kind of games, they just kind of speak to gamers in the fact that you can pick it up, you can have fun with it, but you like to test your skill against others continuously. And if you get a group of people who like to play it, that is the recipe for a wasted weekend.
True, and you're forgetting one thing though. You mentioned esports a while ago. Smash Brothers has something that no other game has, and I don't count the Dota games and all the Steam games. It's fun to watch. You don't have to know anything. I don't even. I look at the game. I want to have an epileptic seizure, but it's basically it's a love letter to video games by Nintendo, and Nintendo is the best developer in the world. For the most part, they don't make bad things, and this is when they put Sonic the Hedgehog in this. It's the best Sonic the Hedgehog you've ever seen. And this new game has Pac-Man, and Pac-Man looks outstanding. It makes me want to play Pac-Man again. But I can't play the game. I can just look at it. I can look at it, and I get everything I need out of it just by looking at it.
Hey Nathan, we're just pretty much out of time. Again, TV favorite shows, Resurrection. I like Gotham. It's like pre-Batman, really good stuff. Forever. There's he's immortal. It's not bad.
I would say Doctor Who, Walking Dead is coming back, and I haven't seen the American version, but check out David Tennant and Grace Point because it's a remake of David Tennant's own series called Broadchurch.
Okay, all right. Well, listen, we're just pretty much flat out of time. Again, if you want to, what you should do is just go to popzara.com. You can read all these different stories. You can listen to their podcasts. And
you can send money.
You can send money.
We'll take Bitcoin.
Yeah, exactly. But the weekend upon us, there are not a lot of good movies out there. Although they're coming, if you're going to go out, check out The Equalizer. I would go see The Maze. It looks interesting.
I guess that's it. Just go see The Maze. It might look interesting.
Yeah, it might. If there's nothing else out there, although some of the good movies are just around the corner. So, worst case, just go out and have a good time.
Go read a book.
Go read a book.
Read a book.
Go to a restaurant.
90 seconds.
Nathan, thank you so much for being with us here at the on the Computer America Show. It's always a pleasure having you.
Oh,
here.
And before we go, Apple Watch, it exists. End of story. We're done. Put a cork in it.
Oh, Craig was going to rake you over the coals for that one.
No, I beat him to it. It exists.
Yeah, it exists.
There we go.
I know. And I'm probably going to get one because I think it looks very cool. So that's me. What the heck. All right, everybody. Again, weekend's upon us.
60 seconds.
Nathan, you stay with us to our little after show here on Google Hangouts. Again, everybody, thank you so much for being with us here on a Friday night. Monday night, what do we got? We're going to have Intronus. Intronus is going to be here within the first hour. And you say, what is Intronus? Well, basically, they're going to talk about how technology can be used to help you prepare for disasters, disaster recovery and backup. That's what we're going to be talking about in the first hour. And then hour two, we'll have computer and technology news brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. Again, have a great weekend, and we will see you all on Monday night. So until Monday night, this is Craig Crossman hoping that your hard disk
10 seconds
never becomes floppy. We'll see you Monday night.
Goodbye.
Hey, everyone.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Okay, so again, bye everybody in the chat room. Say night all. See you Monday. And just say goodbye to everybody in the chat room.
Bye.
And again, everybody, thanks for watching us on Hangouts, and we'll see you on Monday night. So everybody say good night.
Good night.
Good night.